Are you tired of having terrible Wi-Fi? Constantly having to use excuses like, "Sorry bro, my dog was playing for me." And you don't want to pay for overpriced Ethernet cables? Then this is the video for you. I'm going to show you how to wire your own Ethernet cable. Before we get started, here are a couple of things that we are going to need. Ethernet cable spool. This can include Cat 5, Cat 6, etc. I'm going to use Cat 6 for today's tutorial, an RJ45 connector crimping tool, and RJ45 pass-through connectors. This is a combo kit I got from Micro Center. You can get something similar at Lowe's or Amazon. We're also going to need RJ45 Keystone jacks, a wire stripper, and a punch down tool. And finally, a data tester. This is a relatively cheap one from Southwire. If you don't want to buy one, just connect your Ethernet cable to your computer and check your Wi-Fi speeds to ensure that it works. Now that we have all the materials, we need to decide how much spool is going to be needed and open up the cable. For this, I am going to use the wire strippers to pull the PVC jacket off. Before putting the cable in, check to make sure that the blade is as far back as possible so it doesn't accidentally cut the wire. Next, put the cable in around 2.5 inches and turn the wire cutter. This should allow the plastic to easily pull off. This now reveals the conductor separator, which is a plastic piece in the middle, and 4 pairs of pinout wires. These wires are very important for data transfer, which is why we need to check that none of them were cut while taking the PVC jacket off. This cable is looking quite dandy, which means we can move on. With that said, we now have to unravel all the pairs. Instead of doing it by hand, there's a little trick we can use to be speedy. Unravel the bottom of the wire a little bit, but big enough to fit the PVC jacket. Then take your jacket and put it through the hole and pull using 2 fingers, just like this. Next, we're going to straighten out all the pairs so they can properly go into the RJ45 connectors. To do this, I'm just going to use my fingers to line them up and straighten them out. Once that's complete, we can take out a pair of scissors or just use the wire stripper to cut the conductor separator off. Now we're ready for the RJ45 connectors. Each has 8 slots which allow the pairs of pinouts to go into, and if we look really closely, there's holes for the cables to pass through with the copper teeth at the end. These teeth will flatten and go into the wires to complete the connection using the crimping tool. I find that putting them in one by one is much easier, but once you get good at it, you can try putting them all in at once. We can now put the cables in the connectors as long as we put the colors in a specific order. At the top right of the screen, there will be a diagram of both Ethernet pinouts, T568A and T568B. For personal use, it doesn't really matter what you use as long as it matches up on both ends. I'm going to use T568B. To start putting the wires in, first face the connector away from you. Then put white-orange in the first slot, orange in the second, white-green in the third, then blue, white-blue, green, white-brown, and finally brown. Once all the cables are in their proper slot, pull them all the way through until the PVC jacket is in. Then cut the cable so that it can easily go into the crimper. Next, put the head of the RJ45 connector into the crimper and squeeze. This will cut the excess off and close the RJ45 connector. It may leave some excess cable hanging on, which you can just take off with your finger.
Nice.
Now for the RJ45 Keystone jacks. We're going to have to follow the same previous steps. First, strip the PVC jacket off. cut the conductor separator off. Then, using our special trick, unravel all 4 pairs and straighten out the wires.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
The wiring is going to be the same. We are still going to use T568B. First, separate the wires based on the Keystone jack colors on each side. Orange, orange, white, green, green, white. Then on the other side, do blue, white, blue, brown, white, and finally brown. Once this is complete, push them into their own slot with the PVC jacket as close to the edge of the jack as possible. I like to work from the top down, so I'm going to start with orange, then brown. Orange, white, then brown, white. Green, then blue. Green, white, then white, blue. Next, we need to use the punch down tool. When using this tool, it is imperative that you make sure the sharp end is facing away from the jack. As you can see, it's pretty sharp, which allows it to cut the excess cable off. If you cut the cable on the inside by accident, you then have to start over, so it's important that the sharp end is on the outside. The punch down tool is going to go right in between the grooves. Once you're ready, place the jack on the table and push down using the punch down tool. This is going to make a noise and let you take the wire right off. You can repeat this process for all 8 wires. This is the finished product. It came out pretty good. The final step is to put on the cap it came with. Each cap has a hole which corresponds to a protrusion on the jack. To attach the cap, first line up the hole and then it should click in. Are we done? No, we need to do one last thing. Bro, is that a vape? That has to be a vape. No way he's vaping right now. Vape? No. Data tester. The last thing is to check if there are any issues with the cable using our data tester. To test the Keystone jack, we just need to add a connector attachment and plug it into the tester. The connector on the other side can just be plugged right in. Now we can hit the test button. As you can see, the green lights, number 1 through 8, all line up with no red lights turning on. If you made it to the end, subscribe for more tech or gaming videos. Thanks for watching.